In this video, I want to show you how to edit a verse as well as how to add a new verse. So, one thing to edit it, you need to be in flashcard mode. So I will click on any of these verses. Now I'm in flashcard mode. And now when I click on this three buttons at the top, these three lines, three dots, I get this edit option. So I click on there, and now I can see the reference. I can see the references here. I can see the source. This topic, you can type in whatever you want. I often use a keyword from somewhere near the beginning of the verse, and I'll say why in a minute. And then here, this image URL. This is if you wanted to add an image. Notice how some of the verses have images. You can add an image. Now, if you don't have a URL to put in there, you can click on this little button, this image icon here, and that opens you up into this unsplash.com that has thousands of images you can use that are just for free. And so I usually use this search option to type in a keyword like day. And then when I search, it's going to show me all kinds of pictures. And you can just click on the one that you want, and then it's added that URL in there. This is where you can also go in here and maybe you want more line breaks. For example, day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. Maybe you'd like it better if you had more line breaks when you're learning. And so now I have everything in here, and I'm going to click on this save button so that my changes are saved. And now you can see here's my image. And when I turn this around, I have it on 4 lines instead of 2 lines. And one thing that allows you to do too, when you're saying this passage, remember I talked about you can use this one and say it all at once and then turn it around to see everything at once. The other option though is that you can use this button here. This shows you one line at a time. If you're not quite getting it, you can use that one, and every time you press that, it'll show you day after day. They pour forth speech. Test yourself. Yep. Night after night. Then it'll show you the next one. And now if I do the final one, it'll accept that as me having, then if I do this final one, if I do this final thing, it'll say, yep, I knew it. So I'm going to go back. So that's one way to edit things. I'm going to go on to the new. Notice if you scroll all the way down, these cookies ones that we downloaded, they're all NIV, except for this last one is NIV 84. So if we want to edit it, do you remember how? We click onto the flashcard, and then we click onto those 3 buttons, and then we choose edit. And then we can change our source to be, where is it? NIV. And again, make sure you save that. And now we're in there. And I'm going back to the full view, and now it's showing as NIV. What about if we want to add our own verses? To do this, the easiest way, you want to be in the new box, and once you're in there, the button at the bottom is a plus sign, and that's where you can add a new verse. Notice it looks very much like the edit verse that we were just in. If you start to type a chapter from the Bible, it'll usually pop up with the piece. You can click on that to select that instead of having to type the whole thing. Then you will have to type your chapter and reference. It doesn't, if you want the whole chapter all in one flashcard, you still need to do a colon and write down the verses. But now nobody wants to actually type that whole thing out. So As soon as you choose a source, you will be able to have Remember Me look it up for you. So if I click on source, there's lots and lots of options. I'm going to choose the new NIV 84 because I want to show you something that happens. Once I've done that, it now gives me this look it up button, and that won't appear unless you have something in the source. Now if you click that, it opens up this thing. It's telling you where it's getting it from. And it's really hard to see, but it is actually that the text is actually right up there. Different versions, it'll be a much more obvious, but no matter what you want to do is click on this clipboard. That's the normal icon for the paste. So you click on that and it's pasted all of the words into this section right at the bottom. Now, it doesn't put any line breaks. So then you would want to go in there with your cursor. Oops. In the past, God spoke to our forefathers. I don't know why it's not giving me, why it's giving me selection instead of, there we go. In the past, and I could put a line break in there through the prophets. And then I'm going to put, I've never had this much problems until there we go, at many times and in various places. And again, you could use this button here to add the image if you wanted to. And notice how topic is currently empty. So some people do actual topics like forgiveness, salvation, etc., etc. But I prefer to type in something like just one little keyword near the beginning. So in this case, I used past. In the past, or you could use spoke, or you could use for, whatever you want that to be. And then you hit save, and now you have that Hebrews in there.